New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And good morning, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Saturday morning. It's 9 a.m. on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for our Saturday Science of Mind and Spirit conversation series. If you watch the intro, you know what we're about, because that's what's happening. If you didn't watch the intro, we get together on Saturday mornings and someone shares from the Science of Mind textbook, and we study that book chapter by chapter because it is so transformative to the understanding of metaphysics and the New Thought philosophy. And but the book doesn't last the whole year. So after a certain point, we run out of chapters, which has happened now and for this year. And we start looking at resources from the Science of Mind archives. And this is always a rich and glorious experience because, well, you never know what you're going to find. And we never really know what we're going to talk about until it happens. Good morning, Shay. Glad you're with us, dear one. Grateful to see you on this beautiful Saturday morning. I know it's gorgeous on this side of the mountains. I trust it's gorgeous on your side of the mountains as well. Good to see that you're here. All right. So I always like to remember to big thanks to the team. Big thanks to the team that makes this all happen. Reverend Victoria's talk last week, and I believe that I'm not sure who's up next week, but as I personally follow this Saturday series along, and in that regard, it's always wonderful to hear my colleagues and friends share how they experience this great philosophy. And so I want to share something with you here this morning before I tell you where it's from or what we're doing or how this is all going to unfold today. It says, we stand in the midst of what some consider unprecedented personal, societal, and planetary change. The extraordinary opportunity before us is to meet any challenges by remaining centered in the truth of love and oneness, practicing the principles we embrace, and welcoming a new world into our consciousness and living. Wow. Those are the words of Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn. And the piece I'm going to share with you today is not quite 12 years old. It's from December, Science of Mind magazine, December of 2012. And the reason I wanted to share this with you today is it's an interesting story, actually. So this is my first week on Saturday mornings looking for a resource for the Science of Mind magazine, or for from the archives. And I went into my archive account yesterday to start looking around, just to see what's out there, what's new, and maybe what we could use. And um, Dr. Mark is Reverend Dr. Mark Gilbert is part of this team, and he's on the board with the Science of Mind Archive. So he's always bringing new stuff and interesting stuff, and I want to make sure I'm not doing the same stuff he's doing. And I get into my account, and I realized that my account, my subscription to the archive, had elapsed, had not been getting paid for the last few months. Oops. Maybe that happens with you sometimes. Maybe there's things that you want to support and you believe you're supporting, and because of the way life works, you don't see that a subscription lapsed, or you don't see that a subscription is continuing that you don't want anymore. But so I quickly went to rectify that, or at least I thought I did, and I thought I paid a past due and it would bring my account up to speed and and I'd have access to the resources again, and but it didn't work. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to continue to try to monkey around with this. I'm going to go find a past resource that I've used. And that's what I did. I found a past issue of the Science of Mind magazine and just started to peruse through it. I have quite a few in PDF form on my computer, and started to peruse through some of them. And I found this, and wow, yeah, I really like this. Now, this was written 12 years ago. I want us to remember that. And for me, I think you're going to hear a lot in this as I share, and I'm going to read some of it and help you to kind of move through it a little bit here. I know you don't have it in front of you. And here's the way Spirit works. I love it, because this morning I realized, oh, you know what? Maybe it didn't go through because it thinks my old subscription was done for some reason, or had been canceled accidentally. And let's go back in and create a new subscription. And I did. And wouldn't you know it, boom, everything worked. And I was in, and I had my credits, and I could go download stuff. But I didn't need to, because, well, I'd already found this. And again, I like this. So let's read into it a little bit. In this, oops, that's not the one I want. I want this one because it makes it bigger for you. There we go. That should make the text hopefully readable for you. If that's too small to read, let me know. I can turn the size up a little bit, but I'm hoping that's big enough for everybody to read along with me. So back in 2012, Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn, and I forget if she was the community spiritual leader at that point, or where she was in her career in New Thought and in Science of Mind, specifically in Centers for Spiritual Living. But she was definitely in leadership at some level at this point. In casual conversation the other day, I asked my friend how he was doing. He replied, "I feel like something's going on, but I don't know what it is." His simple comment expressed something I had felt for some time and have heard others say, that much is changing in our world and in ourselves, and we're not quite clear what it is or where it's all headed. An even greater question is how we stand spiritually in the midst of all that is taking place, and the changes that are predicted, the changes that are underway, the changes that we didn't see coming. Let's get back into it. Over the past 4 years, we've been living through financial shifts and loss while watching institutions crumble, jobs decrease, and the economy constrict. The instability of certain practices around the personal and global finance, as well as those regarding the production and provision of electricity and fuel, are becoming more obvious. We have witnessed stunning changes taking place as people in countries around the world have rallied to force repressive regimes to give way to more representative governments. On almost a daily basis, our global heart hurt seeing and hearing media reports of violence and loss of life. We stretch to understand and accommodate shifting planetary weather patterns and the news that our glaciers are melting and our atmosphere can only take so much more fossil fuel burning. Now, before we go down that road of, oh my gosh, nothing has changed, I want us to focus in on the fact that everything has changed. When we look at 2012, yes, all these things are true. And I want to applaud Reverend Dr. Kathy for saying it in the magazine. I don't remember truthfully in my own way, and I was reading the magazine at this point. Most likely I read this article when it came out, and most likely at the time I was like, yes, but I don't remember specifically such a prophetic voice in New Thought as what we hear in this article. And so I want to find those things again. If anybody's been following my Substack, you know this is a thing for me right now. So it's not unusual for me that this showed up. We've got to tell it like it is. She continues. Whoops. There we go. And we're right here at the bottom of page 71 now. At the same time, we're connecting as global citizens more than ever before. The interfaith movement is expanding as members of world religions reach to embrace each other and seek to honor the God that each one celebrates. Technology is making information instantly available, allowing us to be part of an ever large scale event on Earth and to share in and respond to the human planetary drama beyond anything thought possible. And boy, has that changed in ways we didn't see coming either. Wow. With AI, yes, technology is making information, perhaps even less trustworthy sometimes. We see that life is wonderful. Skipped a sentence here. Births and body healings that were once considered to exist only in the realm of miracles are becoming commonplace. We see that life is wonderful, good, and astonishing, even in the midst of any apprehension we may feel. This is the work of New Thought. This is the work of practitioners and ministers all across New Thought to be in this place of no, we do this, right, of being here. We live this life is we see that this life is wonderful, good, and astonishing, even in the midst of any apprehensions we may feel. Truly, we are living in and feeling into the emerging world, with one foot in that which is ending and the other in that which is beginning. The great opportunity being presented to us is to assist that which is emerging as it comes forth in among and around us. We do this assisting through our consciousness and our actions. 2012. And still some in the New Thought world believe we should do our work in consciousness alone. Gratefully, I believe that those numbers are dwindling. Fewer and fewer people are on that side of the equation, as it were. Don't know why this keeps doing that every time we... She continues, Science of Mind teaches us that we live in a spiritual universe in which the reality of God is all. Ours is not a dualistic world of matter and spirit, but one in which unchanging, invisible spirit takes on form as all that we see. We are not human and divine. We, too, are spirit, the divine reality of God expressing uniquely and individually as all that we are. Both spiritual conviction and quantum truth reveal that what underlies the seeming separation of people, places, and things is an infinite unity in which no barriers or boundaries exist. There is only one thing, spirit, that which was, is, and ever shall be, the essence of truth of all creation, all form, and all being. Lay it on the line, sister. I had the great pleasure to study with Kathy Hearn in a number of occasions through ministerial school. She was not only an active leader, but an active teacher, and had great opportunity to study and work with her and learn from her and listen and really absorb how she was bringing forward the science of mind. And that's why in some ways it surprises me that I lost track of this article. It surprises me that I lost track of some of this. And that is the work of the archives. That is the great work of the archives, to help us preserve this and be able to tap back into these things. There is only one thing, spirit. That which was, is, and ever shall be, the essence of truth of all creation, all forms, and all beings. As people, we stand with all others as the place in God's creation where creation becomes conscious of itself. I know that's not on the screen at the moment. To me, this is pure. And this is prophetic. This is that deep reminder that we are one, that there's nothing separate. There can't be. Deeply, we are one. I guess that's going to keep doing that every time, even though I kind of like that one better. Folks will have to let me know which one you like better. All right. We're over here on the right-hand column. There is only one thing, spirit, that which was, is, and ever shall be. We're going to come back to that idea in a little bit here before we're done today. That which was, is, and ever shall be. The essence of truth of all creation, all form, and all being. As people, we stand with all others as the place in God's creation where creation becomes conscious of itself. Now, remember, here we see creation used in a capital letter and the word itself used in capital letters. If this is perhaps your first time finding us and wondering what in the world you stumbled into, when Holmes speaks of the divine God, the absolute, whatever we want to call it, Brahma, Buddha, Yahweh, Vishnu, Kuan Yin, source energy, the council, Gaia, whatever we want to call it, when he speaks of that aspect of the divine is capitalized. So creation is not just our human creation here. He's talking about Big Bang kind of creation. As people, we stand with all others as the place in God's creation where creation becomes conscious of itself. Through our awakening, we stand up in our awareness saying, I am, and seeking to know what created us and how to live in harmony with it and with all of life. Well, there it is in a nutshell, folks. Through our awakening, we stand up in our awareness saying, I am awake, I am woke, I am aware, I am ready, put me in, coach. And seeking to know what creates us, the oneness, and how to live in harmony with the oneness and with all the ways that oneness expresses itself as life. As beings on earth, the emerging world is not an act being done to us, but it is an event of unfolding of consciousness and life taking place through us. So if life is taking place through us, then it doesn't matter what happens around me. It really doesn't matter how people approach me or how or what's going on in and around my life, because at the end of the day, it's all the great I am. And my work, and we hear it in so many places, is to learn how to live in harmony with that, whatever that is. Learn how to live in harmony with all of life. Learn how to live in joy and in a realization that it truly is all God. Now, I may not enjoy it and I may not agree with it. And hold on, we're getting there. But what Kathy wants us, I believe, to see here and to remind ourselves here is that we are creating an energetic vibration of oneness, first in our own lives, that radiates out and supports those around us. And so it does us no good to dwell on what is not working. We have to be willing to admit it, to recognize it, to speak it, but not to dwell on it, not to hash on it. And she did a great job at the beginning of this article laying out what was going on in the world 12 years ago. And some of it may look the same and some of it may sound the same, and we may be able to, and I trust we can see that how we have grown beyond those limitations into, maybe a whole new set of limitations, or so it seems. And we are continuously evolving and growing into greater and greater understandings of these principles and how this thing called life actually works. As she continues here, as beings on earth, right here we are, sorry. As beings on earth, the emerging world is not an act being done to us, but is an event of unfolding of consciousness and life taking place through us. The world is evolving itself through our consciousness right now and calling us to a deeper realization of oneness in our personal lives and in the life we share with each other. Get that? This thing called life, I talk about it so often, the evolution of human consciousness. The world is evolving itself through our consciousness right now, through this conversation, through the one that came before, from the program you're going to watch later today. And that's why I keep saying again and again, it is so very important. Now, I'm not perfect, because I like to watch a good shoot 'em up movie every once in a while. But we must do our best to surround ourselves with a consciousness of oneness. Surround ourselves with what is necessary to remind us of that oneness in every single moment. Kathy's going to bring a little bit of the science into it here with us too in this last paragraph on this page. It is true that we are on a shifting planet and that change is upon us. Still is, always has been, always will. There will always be change. There will always be issues that are in the human world. We just don't dwell on, we speak them, but we don't dwell on them. Author and scientist Greg Braden speaks compellingly about studies done on the polar ice caps on our Earth that reveal how the current changes on our planet mirror the changes of other times experienced by the people of different eras. In his video, 2012, Living in an Extraordinary Time, and that is still available on YouTube. I looked it up last night, and I thought I had grabbed the link for y'all. If I can, I'll grab the link for you before we're done here today. But you can look that up. 2012, Living in an Extraordinary Time. It's about a 6 or an 8 minute video, if I remember correctly. So he acknowledges that what ancient cultures portrayed and predicted in their temples and texts is confirmed by astronomy and science. And what he is saying is that we are at the end of a world age, a period of 5,125 years, which is the last 5,000 plus year cycle in a greater 25,000 year cycle called the precession of equinoxes, and that this precession of equinoxes ended at the winter solstice, December 21st, 2012. Well, folks, I wouldn't be all that surprised if there's more to it, and maybe there's a little echo to the system. We have seen, I agree 100% with what is being put forth here, that we are in a repeating pattern, that we have seen challenges, and we have seen world wars, and we have seen peace negotiations, and we have seen so much over time again and again. And we're going to talk about that before we're done here today too. Still got a bit of time here to finish this all up. And my experience is, as humans, we can often miscalculate some of these things. So I do remember this time, 2012. I do remember this winter solstice, mostly because my birthday is December 20th, so I always remember the winter solstice. And I believe that we are moving through portals of timelessness every day, in every moment. And so focusing in on specific number of years and exactly how many years, well, our way of telling time has got a quarter of a day, which means every 4 years we get an extra day, which means this could be off over 5,000 years. That extra day adds up, maybe kicks the system one way or the other, maybe it puts our calculations off. So let's do it this way. Let's just interpret this and add a metaphysical bent. Right here, what we're going to say is that every so often, every whole lot of time, the Earth and our solar system reach a place in their journeys through the heavens that marks the end of precisely such a cycle. With that end, a new world age begins. Okay, maybe we're only 12 years into a new world age. Apparently, it's always been this way for at least 4 such cycles, or 5. Again, anytime we start getting into numbers, folks, we don't always do the math right. It ain't mathing. At least every 4 or 5 cycles, every something, our ancestors endured the changes in global magnetic fields, climate, depleting resources, and rising sea levels that come with the end of time. The fact that they lived to tell the story stands as a powerful testament to an undeniable truth. It tells us beyond any reasonable doubt that the inhabitants of our world have survived the end of world ages in the past. Beyond simply surviving, our ancestors learned from the difficulties that can accompany the change. In the words of their day, they did their best to tell us what it means to live such a rare moment in history. It's a good thing they did, because such events are few and far between. Only 5 generations in the last 26,000 years have experienced the shift of world ages. We will be the 6th. I agree with that, regardless of the numbers of years, of what year we're in. When we marry the facts of today's science with the wisdom and the historic records of the past, can someone say Akashic Records? We find a story that's almost beyond belief. It's the story of a journey, our journey, that began so long ago that it has taken over 256 generations and 5 millennia to reach the end. And the end is actually a start of a new journey. To me, one of the most difficult parts of the New Thought philosophy, if you will, our movement, our teachings, all of these things, is this part about living, that there is no time and space in the mind of God. Everything, all of knowledge, all of wisdom, the entire Akashic record of humanity 256 generations, 5 millennia of wisdom and insight and communication and errors and mistakes and false beliefs and the good and the stuff we don't understand, that it all exists right there in this moment. And that you and I have the ability to tap into any moment of that. It's always kind of been a tough grasp for me. And yet, in many ways, it is the very heart, it is the very soul, it is everything necessary for this philosophy to work, for it to really work. Because there are things I need, there are things I want, there are desires that aren't real in my life right now. And in the divine, I get it because I've touched it, and you probably have as well. I'm betting you already have touched it as well. That place, we sometimes call it the still small voice, but that place where we just know that we know, where we can see the future, where we do see the vision of what is emerging and what we are here to accomplish as a spiritual community, as spiritual beings, as beings of light that are bringing the spiritual, bringing the divine, bringing the absolute into the human world of limitations. And sometimes that's tough work, folks. For a light being, it can be tough. And yet, that is what we are here for, to navigate this journey of enlightenment. And I like to quote this because one of my earliest books and one of my earliest teachings in all of this is Ram Dass's book, Journey of Awakening. And or Journey of Awakening. And he was specific in that it's not a journey to awakening, it's a journey of awakening. It's a journey of awakening to ourselves again and again, day after day, through meditation, through spiritual practice. And I've kind of changed that and adopted it over the years because for me, it's the journey of enlightenment. It's the journey of recognizing that we already are enlightened, that we are light beings more than we are human beings. And don't get me wrong, I love my humanness. I love my warm tea on Saturday mornings. I love getting to play in this bodysuit, and I love getting to experience this aspect of the all that is. And when it comes down to it, I am still a light being, as you are a light being. And we must remember that we are here to bring this into the human form. I'm going to come back to Kathy's article here. If the end, and I want to say this, so before we go there, if she was right, if Gregg Braden was right, if all the math was exactly right, and December 12th, 2012 was the end of a cycle, the precession of equinoxes, then not sure why that happened on solstice, raises a question for me, but we can explore that later. Then we're only 12 years in to a 5,125 year cycle. Wow. Look at what we've accomplished in 12 years. Look at where we have come in the last 12 years. Look at what your life, how your life has transformed in 12 years. And not according to human metrics, not according to, do I have a better job? Do I have more money in the bank? Do I have a prettier spouse, a more handsome spouse? Do I have a better spouse? Do I have my freedom? Do I have not in those human metrics? Look at where we have come as spiritual light beings in the last 12 years. Look at how the work we have been doing is uplifting this planet, is uplifting the human consciousness. We know what happens when we lift up your consciousness. We raise the vibe. When we raise the vibe, we get a greater. And look at how far we have come in 12 years, how much progress we have made. So Kathy asks us, says, there are questions to be answered that are crucial for how and how well we will live in our emerging world. How will we treat each other? Will we fight? Will we compete? Or will we cooperate and work as family to get through the changes? I think it's becoming more and more obvious to me that in the New Thought movement, in the New Thought world, there's more and more talk of intentional community. There's more and more talk of creating islands of peace. There's more and more talk about how do we cooperate and work as a family, as a I almost said the word I don't want to say, as a tribe, as a movement, as an evolutionary impulse on the planet made of love and light. How do we work together through these changes? Well, Kathy says we're becoming spiritual ushers. One way to view what is taking place is that a huge spiral of time of Earth's story is completing, while another huge spiral of time, a new cycle of Earth's story, is beginning. A lower frequency of consciousness centered in the belief in and the perception of separation is dissipating, while a higher frequency of oneness consciousness is seeking to be welcomed into our awareness and our living. If it is true that the only problem is separation and the only truth is unity, then we as the people between the spirals have a role to play in ushering in the new way. Yes. I know there are still places and pockets in the human world where it does not seem like that right now, but that's the news we're being fed, and that's the pocket that we live in, and that's the place where it is most important for us to do our work. Our personal spiritual work is first to resolutely drop the lower energy thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs to drop the lower energy thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs we use to separate and divide us from God, life, each other, and even within ourselves. We do this by working within ourselves and getting counseling and support when we need it. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. We start with ourselves. Every great metaphysician is saying we start with ourselves. And we do that to set ourselves free from habits of fear and to drop our grievances, whether they're against society, the government, parents, ourselves, our others, the organizations that we're a part of. Seeing that we cannot afford to be part of the problem of separation any longer, we actively work to forgive, to let go of blame and resentments, knowing that by doing so, we give ourselves permission to move forward into a new time and a higher level of living. We dig deeply into faith, commit to expressing through and as love, and keep raising our energy by lifting thoughts and feelings to meet and welcome a more complete realization of unity. Again, preach it, sister. Man, that is good. While our planet's tilt, wobble, and position in our galaxy may be beyond our personal control, what we can influence with precision and impact is the kind of person we are and the kind of atmosphere of consciousness, thought, and behavior we manifest around us. What you think about, you bring about, folks. Basic science of mind, but in a prophetic voice that reminds us how imperative it is to do our work, to become a clean vessel, and to create an atmosphere of consciousness, thought, and behavior that's building up the good. Top of the second column. We choose to stand in spirit, in love, at the center of the wheel of change instead of whizzing around at the edge, feeling buffeted by every shift. We can choose, no matter what, to stay grounded in the unchanging, rooted in oneness. Oh, I love that. Firmly planted in the invisible and loving and serving while the outer rim of the wheel turns. We can choose to see the interdependence of existence, understanding that we, along with all created things, are each a jewel on Indra's net, and that we can reflect each other. We can understand that what we send through the net, whether it is a love and faith or fear and judgment, impacts all of life and comes back to us. The opportunity for us as 2024 continues is the same opportunity that always has and always will be presented to us. That is to open our spiritual eyes in the midst of thought, in the midst of, through, and in spite of any changes, to see more clearly than ever before the radiant reality of God, the spiritual universe in which we live. It is known, as Ernest Holmes knew it, that there is only one life. That life is God. That life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now, as it is the life of every being everywhere. Exactly. Yes, Shay, exactly. I have to reach out to Dr. Kathy. Remind her that I found this. Let her know I was reminded of this great wisdom. See, folks, the truth is available to us at any moment. And the truth is enduring. The truth does not change because the conditions around us change. The conditions around us change when we come to know when we come to a greater understanding and embodiment of the truth. There was nothing broken back in 2012, even though it may appear to have been. There's nothing broken right now, even though it appears there is. And recently I was reminded of a quote by Reverend Dr. David Alexander, rewind that. That was shared with me by Reverend Dr. David Bruner. You know, there's a joke amongst ministers. The first time you say something, you quote somebody. The second time that you heard it somewhere, the third time it's yours. I think it's to the point where, I heard this somewhere. That being peaceful is giving up the insistence that there's something wrong here, even when there's something wrong here. Being peaceful is giving up the insistence that there's something wrong here, even when there's something wrong here. And I think right now what the world needs is more peaceful people. I've heard it said that there are more awakened souls on the planet now than ever before. We have not yet reached the tipping point. But there are more awakened souls now than ever before. And so for every one of us that grew up in this movement, listening to Dr. Kathy, every one of us that grew up in this movement with a vision, with tapping into not a vision that's going to happen, a vision that is complete in the mind of the one, and we're just reaching out and tapping into it as a calling card, as a clarion, as that light at the end of the tunnel that calls us forward to say we can create this, a world that works for all. Not just the humans, not just the white humans, all. A world that works for all of life, the creepy crawly creatures and the scaly creatures and the winged creatures, the plants, the forms of life we don't understand, the forms of life we can't even see, the microbes in the soil, all part of this one thing that makes life real, makes it possible, makes it fun. So before we run out of time here today, I want to invite you to recognize and affirm for yourself that you are perfect, whole, complete, nothing missing, nothing absent. There's nothing broken, nothing wrong. You are perfect, and you are love, and you are loved. In all of the world, there's only one of you. Among all these billions and billions and billions of humans. And I'm reminded of another great quote I've heard recently. It's all about the risk of doing business with humans. Of all the humans on this planet, there's only one of you. And that means who you are, how you show up in the world, your unique life experience, your unique calling into this universe is absolutely necessary for the evolution of human consciousness. We're not going to get there without you. And I wouldn't want to go there without you. The vision of how humanity is changing at this moment is glorious and grand and amazing. And who you are is necessary to that. So I hope you'll keep coming back. I trust you will. I trust you'll keep coming back Saturday mornings to learn more about the science of mind with us and how it's emerging, how it's evolving, how it's growing into its own self-expression in the coming decades. And in 12 years from now, we might just look back and read this article again. We might just look back and watch this video. And we'll consider, wow, how wonderfully we have done. You've done well. And let's keep doing it. Ah, my dearly beloved. It's good to see you, dear one. Thanks for watching today. Glad you're with us. Yeah, Shay, you got it. It's the only real thing I have control over. Me and me alone. Exactly. Dear ones, again, I want you to know you are loved. You are amazing. I am so blessed to have you in my life in any way, shape, or form, whether you've know me or just catching on to what's going on. This is the first time going, who is this guy? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying with us here this morning. If you'd like to learn more about the New Thought Media Network, please head on over to our website, ntmedia.org. You can also make a donation over there on the donate tab. Let us know you're part of the financial family, helping us to share this message out into the world. We have so much going on around here. Over 40 hours of broadcasting each and every week that go out on all kinds of times, and the best part is there it is. Look at all these shows. Every one of those blocks represents a program that we're bringing forward to support you in creating an environment of oneness, an environment of new thought, an environment of peace in your life, so you can go out and be part of what's happening in the world as well. I'm going to get out of here for now. I love you. I think you're amazing. And until next time, I want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.